Welcome to our current affairs program on Living Television Film Academy about issues of the moment. My name is Chimezie Ozems. The talking point of our conversation today is the announcement by the Abia State chapter of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) that it has zoned the governorship ticket to Abia North and Abia Central senatorial districts. The state chairman of the party, Honorable Asiforo Ukwa-la-Ngwa, stated the position of the party in a communique issued and signed by him on Saturday. Joining me in the studio to discuss this very important issue are Mr. Ukwa-la-Ngwa. Mr. Ngwa is a lawyer. Mr. Ngwa, welcome to Issues of the Moment.
Thank you, sir. Good day, everybody.
I also have in the studio Honorable Goodluck Ebu Ebem. He is the President General, Coalition of Southeast Youth Leaders. Mr. Ebem, welcome to the program.
Thank you, sir. Welcome to the program.
Let me start with you, Ukwa-la-Ngwa. You are a keen watcher of events, things that are happening in Abia State, especially in the political arena. What is your take on that decision by the ruling PDP?
First and foremost, we should understand what zoning is and what zoning entails. Zoning is an internal arrangement by the political party to, as much as possible, reduce the areas of conflict, especially amongst interest groups, particularly those seeking political office. And by zoning, they tend to narrow down or whittle down the number of aspirants or contestants. And zoning, let us bear in mind, does not have the force of law. It is a gentleman's understanding or arrangement. However, that notwithstanding, it is still expected that good party members should recognize the zoning done by the party and also respect the zoning, especially where it is properly done. However, where it is not properly done, or it's improperly done, or the people themselves do not agree, especially the party members, with the zoning formula, then party members are not stopped by any regulation, both the constitution of the party and the constitution of Nigeria, from insisting on their rights of franchise to seek elective office. They can still go ahead to do that. However, the party equally has its own internal control mechanism to ensure that its members abide by what the decisions that it takes. So it is not sacrosanct. That is important. However, it is expected that members ought to respect it, especially where it is properly done.
Thank you for that wonderful explanation. Now, still on you, you said that it is a gentleman's arrangement. Now you are saying that it is not binding on every member of the political party.
I say it does not have the force of law.
Okay.
But that members are expected to respect it.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, let me still ask you the same question. What is your opinion on that decision taken by the PDP zoning the guber ticket to Abia North and Abia Central?
Well, my own opinion is that zoning the ticket to two central zone is not the right thing to do. Before now, in 1999, in 2007, the party zoned it to Abia Central. Then in 2015, the same party zoned it to Abia South, meaning that the arrangement is only on one senatorial zone. And now This is prior to 2003. The party now said they are zoning to 2 senatorial zones, which is not right. They are supposed to narrow it down to 1 senatorial zone. Based on the senatorial zones arrangement, the normal people that should produce the senatorial, the governorship, that should produce the governor should be Abia North senatorial zone. Now, if you say Abia North, Abia Central, it's not right. It should be 1 senatorial zone that we should focus and say this is the zone that should produce the governorship. So it will look somehow, since all this while it has been 1 zone, and this year we are now saying we should be Abia North, Abia Central. It should be, the party should narrow it down to 1 particular zone and say this is the senatorial zone that should produce the governorship. And based on the arrangement, the normal zone that should produce the governorship candidates of PDP should be Abia North Senatorial Zone.
Okay, thank you. Now, Chukwemeka, do you agree with him? He is saying that the party made a mistake by zoning it to 2 senatorial districts, and that it is the turn of Abia North to produce the next governor of Abia State. Are you on the same page with him?
Permit me to disagree. For us to understand this zoning thing, we need to go back a little bit into history, understand the basis for zoning in the first place. Prior to the creation of Abia State, we had a movement for the creation of Abia State, and the signatories to that particular or the membership produced a document referred to, you might have heard as the Abia Charter of Equity.
Yes.
And clearly in that document, it was stated that when it comes to things derivable from government, especially political offices, that it would rotate between 2 nations that make up today the entity known as Abia State, the old Bende and the old Aba. Just 2 divides.
Yes.
Now, in the first dispensation in 1999, it went to old Bende, now Senator Ojo Zokalo. But when it was time for it to move and swing to old Aba division, the party, that is the then structural arrangement, I may not really say the party as it were, ceded it to Abia Central, and the part of Abia Central that it was taken to was still Old Bende. Now that gave Old Bende an advantage of 16 years. Thereafter, with all the agitations and despite every opposition, it moved to Abia South, which is in Old Aba division. Now the contention of the people of Old Aba division is that for the letters and spirit of the Abia Charter of Equity to be observed and respected, that Abia, Old Aba, should equally take another 8 years to bring them up to par with their kith and kin from Old Bende. And if you zone it back to Abia North, it would be giving Old Bende an advantage of 24 years against Old Aba of only 8 years. So clearly for them, even the zoning to Abia North is faulty. Even the zoning to Abia Central is faulty, except to the extent that if it is going to Abia Central, it has to be that part of Abia Central that forms, well, you are the one giving the name, that forms or is an integral part of Old Aba. I'm moving historically. Yes, that forms an integral part of old Abia division, that way equity would have been done, that we are talking about charter of equity, and that equality is equity. That you cannot be talking of equity where two nations are sharing and one is taking 24, the other one is taking 8 years. That there is certainly no equity in it, no justice. So clearly that going back to Abia North is neither here nor there. Another school of thought is that rotation has been completed for those that recognize the senatorial zones. Once it has gone to the 3 senatorial zones, that it is now open and can start back anywhere. There are some people that is their own understanding or argument. Once it starts anywhere, including those areas that have taken turns, then once they take from any of the senatorial zones, when it comes on its second missionary journey, any of the other 2 can take, and once the 2 have taken, then the last one will take. You open up the rotation again. So, in fact, there are as many arguments in support as there are interests. Each interest group or person is adducing and advancing arguments that would favor their own interest, so to say. But the one that deals with equity, and I understand, is that you cannot have 2 nations, one takes 24, the other one is taking 8. I don't see any equity in that.
Okay, thank you. Now, Mr. Ikonne, what do you think will be the effect of this zoning arrangement on PDB?
Well, there's an issue, a point I want to clear here. You know, this issue of zoning didn't start in 1999. It started in 1991. And Abia State, the name Abia, what is really the meaning of this name Abia? A is Afikpo, B is Bente, I is Ukwa-la-Ngwa, and the last A is Abia. In 1991, when Ikonne came on board, he came, then Afikpo was in Abia, the old Abia. He represented the Afikpo axis, which is the first letter, A. Now, after 93, the military interrupted that democratic dispensation. Now, in 1999, B came, which is Addis Ababa. Now, the next letter I is Isukwata. Now, after that, the last letter A is Abba. But when Afikpo left and joined Ebonyi, we now have to come up with the senatorial arrangement. Now, Abia North took their turn in 1999. The Central took their turn, and now it is in Abia South. Now, if you say that Abia Central, for instance, should produce the governorship, maybe Ukwa-la-Ngwa North and South, Ochendo has completed his 8 years in Senate. The same Senate is supposed to come back to the Ngwa axis of Abia Central. Now, in Abia South, another man was to go to the Senate. Now, which political office do we give to the Ukwa man, which is a minority?
So I think good luck. You are digressing. My question is,
yes.
what will be the effect of the zone arrangement?
I'm trying to answer him. I'm not responding to you for now. I'm answering
okay,
him.
but I didn't ask any question.
No, I'm trying to.
Okay, I raised an issue.
Yes, he raised an issue which I am trying to clear. If you say it is in 2 divides, old Abba region and old Bende region. Now, if Anungwa man, Ochendo will definitely hand over to Anungwa man as a senator, which is from the Ngwa, Ukwa-la-Ngwa North. Now you still bring the same governorship to Ukwa-la-Ngwa North. Now, in Abia South, Anungwa man will go to the Senate. Which office do we give to the Ukwa man? Which is also part of the Ukwa-la-Ngwa law, which is the old Abba division. It is only an arrangement where you say the Abia North should produce the governor. In Abia South, another man will be in the Senate. We cannot say a person should be the deputy governor to the Abia North man. Then in Abia Central, the Ngwa man will go to the Senate. Meaning that the Ngwa will have 2 senators. Abia not to have the governor, Ukwa-la-Ngwa will not have the deputy governorship, which would now make it to the balance.
Okay.
Now, when it comes...
Okay, excuse me. We are going to take a short break, and when we come back, you will answer that my question.
I will, but I'm still trying to clear what he's saying.
Stay tuned.
Admission is ongoing at Living TV Film Academy, Aba, Abia State, for candidates wishing to study filmmaking and mass communication for skill certificate training and degree programs, including mandatory NYSC post-degree service. Courses offered are Department of Journalism and Media Studies, Broadcast Journalism, TV Presentation, Filter Journalism, Department of Film and Multimedia Studies, Cinematography, Acting, Video Editing, Film Production, Website Designing, Modeling and Makeup, Bead Making, Screenwriting, Theatre Arts, Department of Broadcasting, Script Writing, Journalism, Reporting, Software Programming, Mobile and Web App Development, Audio Production, Graphic Designing, Digital Animation, Special Effects, Social Media Management. Entry qualifications. Candidates must possess 5 credits in WASICAM GCE, NAPTEB or equivalent. We have the following technical infrastructure for students' skills acquisition: an art theatre well equipped for modern digital television and radio studios open for hire to the public, an audio suite for music production, soundtracks, sound effects, jingles and voice-over, etc. A 50 feet by 40 feet chroma studio, largest in Africa for special effects, world-class rendering facilities for post-production rendering, animation and cartoon technology, assorted professional cameras, drones, etc. A film village with epic and village houses for theatre arts and epic films making. Our studies are skill-oriented with well-qualified academic and technical teachers. We also admit students on industrial training and internship from other institutions. Professional license will be issued to graduates to practice as professionals by Bollywood, a registered professional organization for filmmakers. Wow! What are you waiting for? Rush now and obtain our admission form with 2,000 naira only at our main campus, number 1 Judges Road, 5th floor, former UBA House by NEPA, Waterside Descent, Aba, Abia State, Nigeria, or visit our website, livingradio.com.ng, the Academy, www.livingtvfilmacademy.com, email livingtvfilmacademy@gmail.com, or call 0805 367 3900 or 0816 641 1400. Signed, Registrar.
Welcome back to the program. This is Issues of the Moment, and today we are taking a look at the zonal arrangement announced by the ruling People's Democratic Party in Abia State during the weekend. According to the party, it zoned the governorship ticket to Abia North and Abia Central senatorial districts. Before we went on that short break, good luck, Ibem. You were talking, I asked you a question. What will be the effect of the zoning arrangement on the PDP regarding next year's election? Do you think that arrangement will cost the party the governorship seat come next year? Is it capable of doing so?
Yes, if the issue of zoning is not properly handled the way it should, it will really affect the chances of the party in the elections. Because when there's an arrangement that is out from the normal thing that is obtainable in the party, definitely there will be acrimony, there will be disaffection, and at the end of the day, some people will not be happy, and some people might begin to work against the interests of the party. It still remains the best thing to do for the party is for the party to ensure that they zone this governorship ticket to Abia North.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, Chukwemeka, apart from being a lawyer, you are a member of the PDP. You were once a commissioner in the state on the platform of that same party. Do you think this arrangement may cost their party the ticket next year, if not handled very well?
One thing you would realize is that Abia State is a core PDP state. Even when there was some level of dissidence in those days, that it was still members that it was like a palace coup, and at the end of the day, everybody still maintained the PDP. So personally, I don't see zoning, the issue of zoning, costing the party the governorship seat in Abia State. But permit me to quickly address something he raised, still on zoning, because I would want to believe that I would have loved to ask him if he had seen a copy of the Charter of Equity and read it. If he had, then maybe he might not have made the postulations he made about Afibo, Bende, Ukwa-la-Ngwa, and Aba. Because, yes, those are the areas that formed Abia State at inception. And these are, will I say, towns or major cities that formed Abia State. But the document itself was clear as to how rotation of power should move, not amongst those component parts, the way he has said it.
Have you seen the document
yes,
yourself?
Sir.
Okay, continue.
That is why I said if he had seen it, maybe he would have addressed us differently. It is clear about, it's like, let me use something similar. You say in Nigeria, and you're talking about the local government system being the third tier of government, the state, and then the federal government. However, when you come to Nigeria, what are the federating units? Not the local governments, but the states. The states are the federating units. Yes, the states are now made up of local government. So also in this situation, the federating units we had that gave rise to Abia, just two, Old Bende and Old Aba. Afibo, Ukwa-la-Ngwa, Bende, were all, including Umuahia, were all part of Old Bende division. Aba, Ukwa, part of Old Aba, including Ukwa-la-Ngwa, part of Old Aba. Nobody mentioned Ukwa-la-Ngwa. That same document also said that the capital would be sited at a point equidistant between Umuahia and Aba, which ought to fall naturally somewhere at Ukwa-la-Ngwa. But we were denied that. That is not where the capital is today. So, if we are trying to be equitable in our dealings, if we are trying to be just, even if mistakes had been made in the past, now is the appointed and correct and right time to correct those mistakes. I still insist that insofar as Bende, Old Bende, they have taken, by that I mean from Umuahia to Arochukwu, including Ukwa-la-Ngwa, if they have taken 16 years, they cannot insist on taking additional 8 years under the guise of senatorial districts and now make it 24 while leaving the rest of Old Aba with only 8 years. There is certainly nothing equitable about it, nothing just about it. The equity is that Old Aba should also take 16 years. If after that rotation we now feel like going by the senatorial zones, we sit down as a people, just like we did before, discuss it and work out a new arrangement. But to shift the goalpost after a goal has been scored so as to deny a people a legitimate advantage is most unfair.
Okay, thank you. Now, Mr. Ibem, Abia South was excluded in that arrangement announced last Saturday by the Abia State chairman of the PDP. How do you see it?
Well, presently, Abia South is in power. Is the zone that is that produced the governorship that we are still having now, and that is why the party, the PDP party, in their wisdom, said they should zone it to another zone. So it would be wrong to still include Abia South in the arrangement.
Oh, is it because that the sitting governor is already from that district?
Yeah.
Okay, Chukwemeka, is that a valid excuse? That the sitting governors are from Abia South, and that is why they have slammed the door against any aspirant from that district?
I wasn't part of the negotiation or discussion that produced that zoning arrangement, but I will recollect and recall my earlier position by an interest group that first round of rotation has been completed and that it is now open and can come from anywhere.
It can start anywhere.
Yes, on its second missionary journey. The only problem is that once it comes on its second missionary journey, no place should get a third one until the others have also completed. But to insist that it must always start from point A, always, that it is not also democratic in any aspect. That is their own argument. That is their own understanding. And like I said, virtually every person who has an interest to serve or protect has an argument, very good argument, to buttress their respective positions. So they say that on this second missionary journey, that it would be undemocratic to disenfranchise the people of Abia South. That is their own argument. Mine, and that is where I keep on insisting, is let us first balance the initial equities. Where the equities are equal, the first in time prevails. Let us first balance the initial equities, which is that Old Bende, having taken 16 years, must allow their brothers and counterparts, the old Aba, to also have 16 years. If we now want to amend the rules after the equities have become equal, then we can begin to do so. But to shift the goalpost now and say, okay, let us bring in this senatorial formula. After having taken an advantage of 16 years, you now want to make it 24. It is not right.
Okay, still on you, Senator Aparibe is from Abia South, and he is unhappy with this arrangement by his party. Now, based on that, can he contest the primary election to be conducted by the PDP?
You will also understand that timeously, the distinguished senator has taken steps to obtain his form. That is indicative of the fact that he is ready to contest. Now, nothing in our constitution can prevent him from contesting the primaries, because that will also be unconstitutional and undemocratic if the party tries to prevent him. The party has taken a position, yes, that the party can do, but to physically prevent him from contesting, that will be undemocratic, and I believe any place he takes it to, they will find in his favor. He can always contest the primaries. It is now for the party to decide whether to see things from his own perspective or still to insist on going along with the party position. Don't forget also that the party can take their stand, produce their candidate from the plethora of aspirants.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, the electorate might disagree with the party. These are all possibilities. But the way it is, he cannot be prevented actively by the party or anybody. They can only persuade him. And that, I am sure, maybe the leadership of the party would be working hard at, to use the internal dispute resolution mechanisms of the party to persuade him to either shift ground or drop his ambition So that's the much they can do. But to actively say, Senator Abaribe, you've obtained form, but we hereby stop you, you cannot contest, nobody can do that one.
Okay, thank you very much for that explanation. Now, even before we draw the curtain on today's edition of our program, I want to ask you, what do you think will be the effect of excluding Abia South from that zoning arrangement?
Well, as my learned young brother have said, he said they have the right to contest, and that's the truth. Legally speaking, they have all the rights, but the zoning is an arrangement. It is not lawful. It is not illegal. It is not illegal. It is not legally binding, but they have the right to contest. But why we bring the party or the state brings in zoning is so that they can be able to have an arrangement where some minorities will not be excluded, whereby everybody will be happy. That is why the issue of zoning normally comes up. Like if you look at the national level now, without zoning, it will be difficult for somebody from Southeast to be a president of Nigeria. So this issue of zoning, even when Nigeria was colonized, they have the same arrangement because of the minorities. If you jettison zoning, the minorities will not have a chance to have a shot at the leadership of that country or state.
Yes.
So this zoning is the only arrangement whereby the minorities can be able to feel part of what is happening. So that is my take.
Okay, thank you very much.
I agree. Let's not talk bad about zoning. Zoning is good. The problem is the principles and basis on which you are zoning, and then the understanding by the people as to how the zoning is moving. The problem with this one now is that what was initially agreed upon, the initial basis for whatever zoning, maybe along the way, they had tinkered with it. And so different people now have different understandings about how that zoning should proceed. Otherwise, there is absolutely nothing wrong with zoning.
Okay, thank you very much. They are saying that zoning is synonymous with constitutional democracy, which we say is the best form of government. And with that, we have come to the end of today's edition of our program, Issues of the Moment. We have been discussing the zonal arrangement announced last Saturday by the Abia State Chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Honorable Asiforo Owen Okere. According to him, he said that the party has zoned the governorship ticket of Abia State to Abia Central and Abia North Senatorial District. With that, I want to thank my two gentlemen who spent their time today to come to our studio and talk to us. Mr. Chukwuemeka Nwok, it's a pleasure having you on Issues of the Moment.
Thank you.
Come back next week. And good luck, Ikonne. It's a pleasure having you. Thank you for participating in today's edition of our program.
Thank you, sir.
My name is Chimezie Ozems. I also want to thank you, the viewer, for investing your time in watching Issues of the Moment. Join us next time on this very channel for another interesting package of the program. Thank you.